to dehorn these rhinos, we've got to knock them down. Now we're going to be using drugs which are incredibly potent. M99 is our major drug, alright? A drop of M99 unfortunately is lethal to humans, so you need to be really careful around the areas that we've used darts or have darts, okay? Secondly, we partially wake these rhino up when I get to the rhino. We use a drug called butorphanol, which is a partial agonist antagonist. In other words, it half wakes the animal up but doesn't completely wake it up. The reason for that is that they breathe a lot better because M99 suppresses their breathing horrendously. The implication is that that rhino is just on the edge of waking up, alright? So please, whilst we're working around the rhino, just be careful, be aware of the fact that they can move their heads, and they can even stand up, but they don't rush up. It's a sort of gradual get up, but if that starts to happen, just move back, we'll pull it down, it's not a problem at all, okay? Just stand out of the way because you can get, if it topples over and it's 2 tons worth, you're going underneath. And that's reversal, by the way, is almost complete reversal. Apart from a little bit of tranquilizer that's in the dart, there's generally no... Down here. Yeah, that's fine. 4. Yeah, that's a bit sore, that, hey.
Oh, sorry, baby.
Remember? I didn't tell you actually, but there. Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah. But remember, M99 is 10,000 times more potent than morphine, just one. You know, now it's ID'd. When this calf and cow separate and they say, yeesh, whose calf is that? They can say it's number, I don't know what her number is, I can't remember. It's number 12's calf. And forever it's going to be number 2.
Yeah, this figure for...
Microchip. Stick it in.
Microchip.
Yeah, so this is a very necessary part of management, okay? It's not just nice to do.
We don't go a week past that we don't see our animals, and the only way we can know that we've seen every single one and not double counted one
Is by the notching.
is by having an identification system. I think it's the first step if you want to start, if you want to look after your rhinos. The very first thing
is actually notching, and in fact that's what we do on most reserves.
And this is number
5. think dehorning, as much as it seems awfully traumatic, and it does, it's certainly a traumatic looking process. Rhino don't seem to be particularly troubled afterwards, and there are a lot of ethical issues and other behavioral issues that we may well have to address over time. But the research so far says that it makes very little difference with a closed population of rhino, as long as all of the rhinos are done, and that you don't favour certain bulls over other ones by leaving their horns, and that's obviously a big issue in some cases. But ultimately, the whole idea behind dehorning is to reduce the risk. We've now reached a point where these reserves are at their absolute limit as far as being able to spend on security any further. There's no more money to put into security. They've got as much as they can into it. We can't improve security. So we still have the risk. And what can we do? Well, let's reduce the risk factor. And the way to reduce the risk factor is to take their horns off. It makes it less attractive. And if you look at it as a gain versus risk balance, at the moment when you leave all of the horns on, the poachers are gaining. We take off the horns, we shift the balance, and we've reduced our risk. And it's really a temporary issue, there's no doubt. It's not going to last more than a couple of years, 2.5 years, and we're probably going to have to start thinking of re-trimming some of those horns to make them less attractive again.